Hello and welcome to Airports Company South Africa's Women in Aviation series, where we feature prominent women who are pioneering in the aviation space. Our hope is that in sharing their stories, they'll inspire other women to enter the space. And today I have the privilege of being in conversation with Mbali Lembede, who's the Senior Legal Counsel here at Airports Company South Africa. Mbali, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So when did you join ACSA, and what was running through your mind when you realized that you were cutting across industries and entering, the aviation space?
Sure. So I joined ACSA in April 2017, and that was my first time in corporate. Well, still my only time in corporate. I haven't left. Coming from private practice, so it's law firms, it's billable hours, it's just a different environment.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I was brought into ACSA to purely deal with construction, and then we fast forward, and now obviously I'm dealing with aviation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a change, it's been a challenge, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
And what have you been doing to sort of get yourself comfortable in this space? Because aviation is massive.
Of course.
And the rules and the regulations are endless. You know, when I think about security alone, just what it means to secure an airport, right? And you have to go through all of that, run through all of that. Talk to me about, was it daunting? Let me start there. Was it daunting? And if so, how did you get over it?
The jargon. I think that was the first thing that got me, was the jargon. But I have no problems with asking, sitting there, it's always acronyms of something. And there's a million acronyms. So I'll always jot something down and jot everything down. And afterwards, I'd speak to whoever is running the meeting or who's been here the longest and say, just give me a breakdown. But I think when I realized that this is the space I actually want to be in and not so much construction anymore, I decided to further my studies. That would also help me understanding this whole industry that I'm new to.
Yeah.
So I had the opportunity to study with Griffith University, where I did a new qualifications in aviation management. And then I did my master's in aviation management. So I think that whole period of studying and what I've been learning through, and while working as well, and working in this environment and being able to practically apply what I'm studying, that helped make me way more comfortable than I was walking in, because I didn't even think we had aviation law in varsity. So I knew nothing walking in. So I must say, further studying and just educating myself properly helps a lot with the practical. Yeah.
Okay, I want to shift a little in our conversation and get to the heart of Mbali, right? So you're in practice in private law firms. You're garnering all of this experience. A lot of the time, there's sort of like a one track, right? From that point, it's to become partner, right? At these firms. Why pivot to corporate? Why pivot to a different sort of landscape altogether?
For me, the end goal was never judge or advocate. I would have always ended up in corporates. Okay. I mean, aviation, probably not. I was always going to be somewhere in construction.
Yeah.
But we're here now, and the move to corporate was going to happen. It happened sooner than expected. I thought I would have at least been in private for about 10 years, but it's overall 12 years being an attorney. So I've actually had half and half. So 6 years in private, 6 years in corporate. And the more I'm in corporate, the more I realize it's always been the right decision. It's a decision I've had before while in practice, but now being in it is the right decision.
What were some of the challenges that you came across outside of having to completely come to terms with and grasp everything aviation? What were some of the other challenges that you encountered? And I dare I say, as a woman, just because of the kinds of conversations that we're having on this platform, we are trying to zero in on, of course, women and their experiences in trying to advance their careers and empower themselves. Were there any challenges that you encountered?
As a woman, I want to say, it's a male-dominated space, but I come from a male-dominated space as well.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's the same thing, but I've been acclimatized to it. I believe I've figured out how to work the system, if you can call it that way.
Crack the code.
Exactly. So I'll fit in with the boys' club, but also I don't actually have to fit in, I can be myself. they say when you're forceful, you're an aggressive woman, etc. But, I can be myself. I stand by my grounds. I have my opinions. I have my views, and I'm able to back it up.
It's so interesting because in some of the other conversations that we've had, something that comes up a lot is women taking ownership of the spaces that they find themselves in. And I love what you say about it really is about being able to back up what you're saying. Do you think women who get intimidated in spaces sometimes fail to understand that for you to occupy a room or to take a seat at the table, it can never be something that's just handed to you. It has to be something that you've worked for and you absolutely deserve, because yes, having a seat at the table is not enough, right? Essentially, once you're there, it comes with responsibility. It comes with a lot of baggage. Moreover, you're also representing others who are still to come, right? Talk to us about how you are stepping into that role as a woman in this space.
So it's a lot. So it changed up and down that question, but I think the gist of it is basically how am I owning that space.
100%.
Okay, so it comes back down to also equipping yourself. You were spot on when you said you can't just be handed something. I mean, if you're handed something, great, it's fantastic, but then you still need to work, You have to work at everything. It's the same way you have to work at everything in your life. You have to work when you're in this space. It's not enough that, okay, tick box exercise, we got a woman, yay, she's black, fantastic. That's not enough, because you need to be able to stay in that seat. Because there's lots of other black women.
Indeed, just as talented.
Exactly. And so when there's a realization that, wait a minute, is she actually not, they'll shift you from that space. So the idea is to come in, understand what you're doing there. And even if you don't have it, learn. There is nothing wrong with learning. Ask questions. Even those men that you're sitting around the table, ask, who else can you ask? They've been around the table the longest. And that's what I did. Some of the people who have mentored me in this industry have been men. So, and I'm okay with that. And I'm happy with that, because they've taught me what I needed to occupy my space and not be shifted from my space. I get to be pushed forward. And there's great opportunities that keep opening up for me. So, yeah, I'm owning this space. I'm not letting go.
Don't, not at all. I think also just generationally, it's been interesting to see the different perspectives. On one hand, we've had women talk about, balancing work and life because they're mothers and they're wives and they have all these responsibilities, not just at work, but domestic responsibilities. I do find that with younger urban professionals, younger women, there are options, do you want to get married now? Yes or no? Do you want to have kids now? Yes or no? It's all up to you, right? And it's just about curating the kind of life that you want. Are you feeling empowered in that way as a woman, that you have all these choices, and if building a career is one, that's something that you'll do, or if building a family is something that you want to do as well?
Definitely empowered. We have those options. Well, let me say the space that I'm currently in has allowed for those options. I know there are other women that cannot speak the same, but right now, speaking to me, yes, I feel empowered. We have the space to grow our careers, as well as grow a family, if that's what you're interested in, and if that's what you're pursuing. I think even with legislation and companies such as ACSA, we're very fortunate with 6 months maternity leave. You come back, we're still within hybrid. People are able to still have their motherly duties, motherly responsibilities, which are very important. Great.
You are Senior Legal Counsel, okay? So I'm assuming there's Junior Counsel that reports to you. Talk to us about your leadership style.
So, I think many people who know me, I am tough. Yeah. So, but I'm not unreasonable. Yeah. So, I think it's also how I was trained. A work ethic is very important to me. Somebody who shows up, but shows up committed. So that is what I try enforce in the people who would report to me over the years. I do believe in teamwork and just training people and uplifting people to move forward. But I am also a one-strike person.
Yeah.
You know, tell you once and then after that.
She's a tough one.
Yeah.
She's a tough. And how do you deal with any sort of pushback from having a very sort of tough leadership style? And I don't want us to be afraid to use the word tough. The law is about discipline. It is about consistency. It is about compliance. People are expected to show up and produce work, you know, and you have to be able to lead in a manner that gives people a sense that they are going to be held accountable for work, you know. How do you deal with any sort of pushback because you're a woman, and the ease with which we then get, you know, targeted and named aggressive and bullish and all these names because you're a woman and you're standing your ground and you're actually insisting on a certain standard of work?
So one of the funniest things that's actually ever happened to me in this organization as well is where I was told, you know, just even with something I've submitted, just dumb it down a little bit.
Oh, wow.
Different types of audience, and also in your approach, just understand the audience. Don't be too aggressive. Don't be too hard. For me, obviously audience is important, but when somebody does approach me with that, or normally when somebody tells you that it's not from a good place, that's my first thing. And I've always been told, look from who it's coming from, understand who it's coming from, and it's usually not from a good place. And with that, then I accept that, okay, this person does not necessarily have my best interests at heart, and I'm okay also with those words because I've grown a thick skin over the years, so I'm okay with the words. It actually motivates me because one, you're hearing me, you just don't like what I'm saying, and that's okay. I'm an attorney. You're not supposed to like me. So it really, you're saying this, you understand the content, you understand what I'm saying, you just don't want me to say it. And I'll always lead with integrity. It's not going to change.
Unapologetic.
And
women need to be more of that.
We can't keep apologizing for who you are. And it's not even a comparison with men and women where they'd say men are masculine. We don't need to be masculine. I don't want to be masculine. The idea is not to be equal exactly to men. It's to just have equal opportunities. So I don't want to be a man. And I'm not portraying myself as a man. This is another personality women have. And that's how they need to see it. We're not all sweet and docile. We are opinionated. We can be tough. We can be aggressive to get a point through. But that's not I'm being a man. That's an alternative personality that we have as women. And so that's how I've taken it over the years. I mean, sometimes it stings, obviously, but you can't cry for everything. So.
I love that. There's different shades, there's layers, and we need to be afforded opportunities to show all of those colors, right? I think just lastly, we are hoping through the series to inspire other women to enter the space. When you look at aviation, the fact that ACSA specifically is led by a woman, our sister entities in the aviation space are also led by women. Do you get the sense that the space is opening up more for women, and that women who are, you know, who have those ambitions, who want to advance their careers, have the opportunity to do just that in this space?
No, most definitely. The space definitely is opening up for women. There's always been space for women. My parting words would be, we need to take advantage. We shouldn't believe that, oh no, this is a male space. Never have that in your mind. Wake up, apply if you need to apply. No one stops you from applying. You can only stop yourself. So the industry is open up to women. Women must just come and take this space and take this opportunity.
All right. Mbali, thank you so much for coming onto the series and sharing
your
story with us and all of your insights. That's an end.